What's going on, YouTube? Today I got my second and third rounds for my fourth official NFL mock draft. Let's hop straight in. Starting off with the Jaguars at the first pick. They took Trevor Lawrence and Rashawn Slater in the first round, I believe. Let me just check. No, Jalen Mayfield. So tackle. But where do you go after that? Well, here I think, they could get some edge help for Josh Allen for sure. They could really use like a second corner, because CJ Henderson's been doing basically everything for them. And I really like Eric Stokes. I think that's a nice pairing with the two. They also need a tight end pretty badly because, Tyler Eiferd's meh, and he's getting a little up there in age. And Pat Freiermuth is a great tight end. However, CJ Henderson needs some help back there. And Eric Stokes has fallen out of the first round for me, obviously, but he's still a great corner from Georgia. A really strong guy, and again, the Jaguars just need help so much back there. Then you got the Jets here. In the first round, they took Zach Wilson and JOK. If you don't know who that is, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. So here, I think you got to get some O-line help, wide receiver, or maybe even a corner yourself. And I like these corners here. It's just, I think a bigger need right now is to either get Zach Wilson some help receiving or some help offensively. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is, besides Daz Newsome, which, where is he speaking of? They dropped him a ton. Besides Daz Newsome is probably the fastest guy in this class, or Jalen Waddle. But, I just think it's a great pairing because, Zach Wilson just has this elite arm talent. The dude has arm strength similar to Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes. So if you can get a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown, which really stretches the field, and can get that deep for Zach Wilson, who can also throw the ball, that's the reason why the Chiefs are so deadly. So it's kind of like a mini version of that for the Jets. Then the Dolphins. In the first round, they took Travis Etienne and Devontae Smith. And so here, you've had a really, really nice tackle fall to you in Samuel Cosmi. He just jumped up a ton of their rankings for some reason, like up to 14. He's still a second rounder for me. I've had him go in the first round. He is a really good tackle, definitely better in the run game, I think. He has some footwork issues, and I would like him to be a bit more physical, which is why I personally have him as a second rounder, although a lot have him as a first. However, I think this guy, if he fixes his physicality issues, he just gets a bit more physical and into the play, I think he can be a fantastic tackle. And I really think he works at right or left tackle. This could be their tackle to replace Robert Hunt, or maybe they put Cosmi at left tackle and switch Jackson over to right, but I think it's a good pick. It helps out that offense. Then at 36, we got the Falcons, and they took Justin Fields in the first round. Now, the Falcons could go corner for sure. I love Tyson Campbell here. Obviously his teammates with Justin Fields, so there's that. Also they could really use a linebacker, and Dylan Moses is really nice. He could definitely go here. They could use some edge threats. I really like Carlos Basham. So there's a multitude of different positions they can go. However, Najee Harris is playing fantastic right now. Todd Gurley is not the future at running back. And I don't know. He's a guy that definitely could go in the first round. Realistically, could even go before Travis Etienne, and I wouldn't argue against it. TDN actually has a Harris higher than Etienne at this point. I would still take Etienne over Harris, but I think Harris is like that ideal, big, strong, powerful running back. Like, he looks like, basically Derrick Henry, who also came from Alabama. It's hard to compare anyone to the monster that Derrick Henry is. But I think the guy can be basically a mini Derrick Henry, and he's not small at all. So, I think it's a great pick here. And Todd Gurley, he's just not it. He's played horrible this year, and this guy would bring the run game to that offense. From there, you just really got to focus on defense. Then the Bengals, they've taken Penei Sewell thus far, and there's not really any receiving threats I like here, because if they're going to take a receiving threat in this class, it's either got to be for depth or for a true number one guy. They missed out on that true number one guy in the first round because Penei Sewell was there. And so here I think you've got to focus either on the offensive line some more or at corner, because William Jackson is potentially not going to be there next year. Mackenzie Alexander sucks, sorry. And they've told me about a guy named Darius Phillips, who I've never heard of before. Even if he works out, let's say worst comes to worst. Worst case scenario, Mackenzie Alexander stays bad. Darius Phillips doesn't develop, and you lose William Jackson. Best case scenario, William Jackson stays and you have Darius Phillips. And, again, I don't really know how good Darius Phillips is. He's developmental, and William Jackson's great, but you need some help for him. But I think the pick really still has to be offensive line. I mean, they just need to help out, they need to help out Burrow in every way possible and make sure that he never has to deal with an injury like that again, because that's just crazy. I mean, that after such an amazing rookie season, that sack could have literally ended all right there. So they definitely need to get a guy, playing opposite from Penei Sewell for me. And one guy I think could really, Penei Sewell can flip to left or right tackle. And in this case, where you take Liam Eichenberg, you can, I see Eichenberg as more of a left tackle, really, than a right tackle, in which case you flip Sewell to the right side, and now you have two great tackles. Eichenberg has had some issues this year. He's not super consistent, but when he hits his good stretches, he's really good, and that's why he's a second rounder for me. I used to have him as first rounder, but I would like him to be a bit more consistent. If he can hit consistency, this dude's going to be a top-tier tackle in the NFL. So, that's up to him, but I think he's the best tackle to take at this point in the draft. I like him over Dylan Raduns. So, yeah, I like the pick here. Then the Eagles, they took Jamar Chase in the first round, and here they need to get some help on defense. Like, I don't care if it's a linebacker, cornerback, or safety. They just need help. And I really like Asante Samuel, actually, with the Eagles. He's a bit of a smaller back, really speedy, can be grabby at times. However, some people even have him as a first rounder. I don't have him quite that high, but he's been great for Florida State this year. Definitely one of the few bright spots for them. I like him, and the Eagles need corner help pretty badly. So then the Lions, they took Jalen Waddle in the first round. And here, I think it's still a little too high to take any of these guys. I could definitely see them taking a quarterback at some point during the draft. They could use a nice linebacker. Dylan Moses is a guy I would see them taking for sure. But I think it's important to get some defensive line or edge help. And out of all the guys available, I think Christian Barmore, he slipped into the fourth round for me my last mock. And looking back on that now, that's insane. I have him as a high second rounder. With a good combine, this dude can be a first rounder. Just before, he's a very powerful guy, obviously, but he slipped into the fourth round before me because I just thought that a lot of these guys were better than him. But looking on that now, that's just silly because this dude showed in the championship why he deserves to go a lot higher than the fourth round. And again, with a good combine, this guy can even be a first rounder. So, and it's a good pick for the Lions because they just need some sort of pass rush, and this dude is insane. Then the Panthers, they took Trey Lance in the first round. And here, I think the pick either has to be a linebacker or a corner. And there are two nice corners on the board in Campbell and Shaun Wade. This is a very limited corner class because after these two guys, I think there's a bit of a fall. And then after these three guys, plus Kerry Vincent, I think the rest of these guys are really, really bad. Some people like Greg Newsome and Rodarius Williams, I don't see them above the fourth round. So, this is a very limited corner class. Whereas this is actually a very deep linebacker class. So you can take a guy like Dylan Moses right now, this is around where I think he should go. If not for his injuries, he'd be a first rounder. But again, it's such a deep linebacker class, and just being that corner is just not that deep of a class. I think you got to go with corner here. And while I think Campbell is the better corner, I like Shaun Wade on the Panthers better. I just think he fits better. He's had some issues this year at Ohio State. However, he's still been a very overall solid corner. I think they're what they're looking for overall, especially since Trey Boston. He's been involved in some trade talks recently, and if they were to go for Deshaun Watson, he's a piece that a lot of Panthers fans are apparently willing to give up. So it seems like corner room is not that good over there, and in the not good corner class, you got to get one here. Then the Broncos, they went with Mac Jones in the first round, and it's kind of the same case scenario, almost the exact case scenario for the Broncos here. They could also go edge. I like Carlos Basham. I think he'd be a fantastic fit with them. But it's another case scenario where they could definitely go linebacker. I mean, they would love a guy like Dylan Moses, but this is just such a poor corner class for a team that needs corners so badly. They've got to go corner here. And the last good guy on the board available is Tyson Campbell. And that's not to say at all that he is not a good corner. I love Tyson Campbell from Georgia. Personally, I think he's been better than Eric Stokes. This year he's been better than Eric Stokes. Overall, Tyson Campbell's not having the best collegiate career, but he's had a fantastic year this year, though. Again, another big corner from Georgia. And the Broncos just need a guy like Campbell because they've got a lot of the smaller guys and the slot guys, but they don't have that big, dominant number one guy. And I think Campbell could be that for them. So then at 42, the Cowboys, they went with Patrick Surtain in the first round. So here, it's got to be defense. Like along the defensive line, it has to be. And looking at the guys available, if you're going to go with an edge, it's got to be like a 4-3 outside, like a defensive end guy. The only guy that I really think fits that well here is Jason Oweh, and I think it's a little high for him. I got more of like a low second round grade on him at this point. So if you're going to go with defensive line, it's got to be one of these guys. And a guy that I think fits really well here. I used to give Marvin Wilson to them at this spot, but he's not that good. I really only gave him to the Cowboys because he just seems like the type of player they pick, the type of player they're looking for, but I see him as more a third rounder. A guy I could see definitely going to them, though, and who is going to go, is Davion Nixon. A lot of people are really, really high on him, like first-round grades. I've seen him as high as like the top 15, which I think is insane. I've got a second-round grade on him. I still think he's a really good defensive lineman from Iowa, obviously. Powerful. I think he could switch over to 4-3 defensive end if he wanted to, but I see him as more of a 4-3 tackle. I think he fits nicely with the Cowboys, and he brings a nice pass rush to a team that doesn't have pass rush. So then the Giants at 43, they took Kyle Pitts in the first round, and they also need edge and linebacker help like really badly. Also corner. There's no corners left on the board to take at this spot, though, so it's got to be a linebacker or an edge player for me. And I don't like any of these edge players to the Giants. Maybe Quincy Roche, but this is a little too high for him in my opinion. So I'm going to go with the linebacker here, and they would love a guy like Dylan Moses. Like I said earlier, if not for injury issues, this guy would be a first rounder. Incredible athleticism, super strong. He's fallen off draft board rankings because even though he's been healthy this year, he hasn't played like incredibly, but I still think he should go really high though, like at least high second round. Again, if he hadn't tore his ACL, I think he would be a first round easily. You should expect regression when, someone tears their ACL. So you shouldn't have expected him to play like phenomenal this year. But regardless, he's still a great linebacker. It's a great pick here for the Giants. Then the 49ers at 44, and they took Caleb Farley in the first round. And so here for the 49ers, I think I like the fit of Kyle Trask. Again, I think it's just a little too high. I mean, after the performance in the bowl game, even though he's had a great season, there are some issues with him, and a lot of people really don't like him, so I don't want 49ers fans getting mad at me. Somewhere that they just have to focus help on, because I had a 49er fan tell me, like, we don't need offensive linemen. You guys do. Like, I'm sorry. Like, Mike McGlinchey, he's great, right? He's obviously a good tackle. It was a good pick. Trent Williams, who knows what's going on with him right now? I mean, it's looking like I think he just declined his option, so he might not even be there next year. Then you look at the inside. I mean, who do you got? Ben Garland, and he sucks. Like, there's no one there. Even if you want to argue your center is fine, which he's definitely the best of those three guys, your two guards are complete garbage. And Wyatt Davis has fallen a bit for me. They have him at like 40. I think that's maybe still a little too generous, but he is definitely still the best guard available at this point in the draft. You can make an argument for Landon Dickerson, but he's still the best guard at this point in the draft. He was good at Ohio State. I watch a lot of Ohio State football. It's my team. He's not as good as everyone thought he was. I'm finally glad that they started to recognize that. But he is still a solid guard, and it fills a position. He's going to be a starter day one because their guards are just so bad. Ever since Super Bowl 54, we've seen how bad that inside offensive line is. It's bad. Then the Chargers at 46, And the Chargers, again, are a team that would like to go corner here, but there's no corners to take at this spot. And for me, it's got to be offensive line again. You just, they obviously got a left tackle in the first round with Christian Darrisaw, right? You got Brian Bulaga on the right side. And Mike Pouncey is a good center, right? So I don't think center's a need. But, God, you guys need guards as well bad. Because I forget who your left guard is. It's like Laken Tomlinson or something. Whoever it is, they're bad. And Trey Turner just fell off a cliff this year. Probably because age caught up to him. But you guys also need a guard, like, really badly. And, I think Landon Dickerson is a guy that, would be a lot higher on boards if not for his ACL tear. It was also awesome to see him, even though, Alabama whooped Ohio State, my team. It was still awesome to see, him come out on the field and as a captain for the team. And, they put him in there for, like, that final snap and stuff. And that was really cool to see. But, again, if not for the injury, this guy would be a lot higher on people's draft boards, I think. And I still have him pretty high. He's a solid guard. And I think he's going to fit in either at left or right guard because you guys need a new guard bad. Then the Jaguars at 46. And they have so far taken Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Mayfield, and earlier Eric Stokes. And so here, it's a pretty easy pick for me. Just being the value that it is. I can see Trevon Moehrig here. Yeah, I have him as a high second rounder about now. And you guys need a safety. However, I just think Pat Freiermuth is too good a value to pass up here. I see him going, he could honestly be a surprise first rounder. That's how good he is. So I just think like it's a fantastic value for them. They get like a true number one tight end to help out that offense even more for Trevor Lawrence. I think it's a good pick here and it's great value because they have him a little low. So then the Patriots at 47, they took Rashad Bateman in the first round. They would have really liked Pat Freiermuth, let me tell you that. So here, the Patriots, they would like maybe like a nice edge player, like some depth along there. Maybe like another wide receiver. Rondale Moore is fine. Rondale Moore to me is basically Rashad Bateman, but not as good. And he hasn't had really that good of a year at all. At tight end, it's way too high to take Brevin Jordan. They dropped Hunter Long, and where the heck is Charlie Kolar? Or unless did he come back for another year? I guess Kolar came back for another year. But they dropped Hunter Long a ton for some reason. Don't even know who I've heard his name, but I haven't really watched anything on Tommy Tremble. And Jeremy Ruckert had a nice game, but like the tight end, they dropped a ton. I still think Hunter Long is a second rounder for me, if not a high third rounder. So, but it's a little too high for any of these tight ends. And again, receiver isn't really an option. So it's like kind of where do you go here? Well, here I think you got to get a true defensive tackle, and J2 Feel is a true defensive tackle. TDN had them really high in the rankings at like 28 at one point. And then you have guys like Broshmo who thinks he's like a fourth rounder. I don't agree with either of those. I think this guy is a solid second rounder, true defensive tackle, very powerful from USC. However, the one gripe is that he is just a true defensive tackle. He's not very flexible or able to switch anywhere else, but that's fine, I think, because the Patriots here are just looking for, again, a true defensive tackle, not someone to switch along the line. They've got their guys at the end and stuff. I think J2 Field works fine here, and he's a great tackle. So then the Cardinals at 48, they have so far taken, in the first round, J.C. Horn. And so here, I know a lot of Cardinals fans want to get a running back. I was confused as to why for a while, and it's because Kenyon Drake is on a contract here, supposedly, or apparently, not supposedly. So, do you have Javonte Williams here if you want to take a running back? I think it's a little too high, though, for him. I don't know why he's ranked 36. So I think it's a little too high for a running back. So I think the best pick here would be work on that defense some more, and that means getting some help along the pass rush. And I think Carlos Basham with Chandler Jones would be a fantastic pairing. I've expressed before, I like the type of pairings where it's like, Azeez Ojulari and Harold Landry, or Bradley Chubb and Von Miller. I like the power guy with the finesse guy. Chandler Jones is the power guy. Carlos Basham is the finesse guy. And Carlos Basham is also definitely a power guy. The dude's very powerful as well. But he has a great tool set of moves. He'll hit you with a swim, a spin, a power. He'll just bully you over. He'll trick you. The dude has such a wide range of moves to use on you. It's insane, and I love the fit of him with Chandler Jones. Then the Raiders. I don't care who it is. It's just God. You got to get some more help on the defense. Not really a corner to take here. They could definitely take an edge player, but if they're going to take an edge player, I feel like, I could see Jason Owe here. This is about the spot he's going to go for me. But I don't know how I like him on the Raiders. The defensive, inside defensive lineman, I don't really like any of these guys here. So I think the pick here has got to be a safety. Because their safety room isn't the best, really. They just need help again on that entire defense. And I like Trevon Moehrig. He's not like a first rounder for a lot of other people have him for me. However, he's still been very solid for TCU this year. Like physicality that he brings, even though he's not the biggest and strongest of guys. Just puts a lot of effort, loves to get in on run plays, which is what the Raiders need. Again, they just need to take the best defensive player available at that point. And I think at this point it's Trevon Moehrig. So then the Dolphins at 50. And they so far have taken Devontae Smith, and then earlier I think Travis Etienne, right in the first round. Travis Etienne. And then this is their second round pick. Oh wait, no, they took Samuel Cosmi earlier. Oh, that's right. Yeah, my mistake. So here for the Dolphins, I think you focused a lot on offense so far in the draft. Obviously, now I think you should get a defensive player. And, if you're going to get an edge player, I think like a 3-4 outside linebacker is the way to go. Hamilcar Rashed could play that, but I think it's a little too high for him. So I like a linebacker here, because you guys have Jerome Baker and really no one else back there. And who I really like, who they have really low in their rankings, is Jabril Cox from LSU. He's played really solid this year, had a great year last year as well. Again, he's really low in their rankings for some reason. I think he should be a lot higher. I have him as a solid, high to mid second round pick. And I think he's a good linebacker. I really like the way he thinks like a quarterback in some aspects of his game. I think that always makes a good linebacker. That's what made Luke Kuechly so good. So I like the pick here. And the Dolphins get a true number one linebacker of the future. Then the Washington football team, they took Kadarius Toney in the first round. Now here, I think they've either got to focus on offensive line or, heck, it's the second round. Is a guy like Kyle Trask really going to last until a third round pick for you guys? Because this guy, he has issues. He sucked in the bowl game. The guy was a Heisman finalist for a reason. I know a lot of people don't like him. He has issues, but he has still been really good this year. He's really fixed his pocket presence. The things that he majorly struggled with before was sensing the pocket, reading routes wrong, just throwing the ball too early or too late, and he fixed a lot of that this year. So for a team like Washington that could maybe just sign a guy in free agency or something, so then that eliminates the need of quarterback. Obviously we're going off of what they have right now. I don't know if you take Kyle Trask here, though. It's just my issue. If you look at the tackles on the board, there are two guys that I definitely would like to take here, and Dylan Radunes and Jackson Carman. If you look at the inside offensive linemen, there's four great guys here in these top four right here. A little too high for Ben Cleveland, but there are options to go here for Washington. But I think they got to get some offensive line help, and I think a right tackle would be really nice. I see Dylan Radunes as more of a left tackle in the NFL, which is why I'm going to take Jackson Carman here. I see him as a right tackle in the NFL. I think he just fits with the Washington football team. They could get an offensive lineman after getting a wide receiver. I just think it's the right pick to go here. It's just maybe a little too high for Kyle Trask, and again, I'm just not really sure where he should go because he has issues, but he fixed a lot of his major issues. And a lot of people don't like him, so we'll see where he ends up. But then the Bears at 52, The Bears so far, they took Terrace Marshall in the first round. Yes, Terrace Marshall. So here, the Bears are another team that could go with Kyle Trask here because, there was just a report that came out today that they're keeping Matt Nagy and their offensive coordinator, right? Their defensive coordinator, Chuck Pagano, just actually retired. So it kind of seems like a lot of stuff is going wrong for the Bears right now. But they made it very clear, Matt Nagy made it very clear that they need to get better on offense. So it really sounds like they're ready to move on from Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles. But I don't think they're going to try and use a rookie quarterback to prove they need to have better quarterback play as they wanted. It's exactly what they said. We need better quarterback play, obviously. And a rookie's not the way to go. So, they got to go somewhere else here. And I think that means helping out the offensive line for whoever they're going to decide to bring in. And I think inside offensive line is the bigger need for the Bears at this point. And I really like Trey Smith. He can play at guard or, even center, really, if he wanted to. I think he'd be a nice guard for the Bears. They could go tackle definitely as well, but I just think this is the better pick here. They've just got to make it better for whoever's going to be there at quarterback next year, but it's not going to be a rookie because that would just be... Matt Nagy's not the best coach, but he's not that stupid. Then the Colts. They took a Mr. Rashawn Slater in the first... No, that was the Steelers. Alex Leatherwood in the first round. And so here... another team that honestly could go Kyle Trask here. And a team that, in a way, can kind of afford to go Kyle Trask, right? Because if you look at it, they're a team that is already really good, okay? The coach isn't fighting for his life right now, like Matt Nagy is, okay? So if you take a guy like Kyle Trask, right, maybe Phillip Rivers stays for one more year, whether he's starting or as a backup or whatever, and he can teach Kyle Trask some stuff, kind of like what I did with Justin Fields and Matt Ryan. Phillip Rivers can maybe teach Kyle Trask some stuff and work out those kinks, and just being that it's a big need for the Colts, to have that future quarterback. And I still like Kyle Trask. So that's going to be the pick here. I know a lot of people probably aren't going to like that pick. I know a lot of people are going to disagree. But I just think it's the best pick for a team that's looking for their future quarterback, that has a chance to be able to have him develop since they're already good. They have a coach that's not fighting for their life right now. I just think it fits and it works. Then the Titans. The Titans are a team that would like to go with like a corner here, because the corners aren't the best, but I still think it's a little too high for Paulson Adebo. So here, they might want to go defensive line somewhere. They don't really need a wide receiver. I don't know why they're listing that as a need. They could also use some offensive line help, but not really, honestly. So there's not really many positions you want to go here for the Titans, but I guess defensive line is the biggest need. I don't really like any of these guys, though. I don't think any of them really fit that well with the Titans. I do like Haskell Garrett. I think that's a fantastic fit, but he's like a third rounder for me right now. See, if you're going to go with the defensive line, and you're going to go with, I think Jason Owe would fit better in a 4-3 defensive end scheme, but I think he could also work out as a 3-4 defensive end as well. So that's why I'm going to go with Jason Owe here, because I think he can work in there as well. I think he would fit better with 4-3, but I still think he can fit though with the Titans though. They've just got to improve that pass rush, even though it played really great against the Ravens actually. But the Ravens' offensive line isn't that good, so but regardless, they need to get some more pass rush. That was one game, and getting two guys like Jason Owe and Azeez Ojulari is going to be phenomenal for them. So then the Seahawks with their first pick of the draft, and they're another team that has to go either edge or offensive line. It's just got to be edge for me, like an edge player. And looking at the guys available, obviously they're a 4-3 scheme, so like Hamilcar Rashed wouldn't really work in their scheme. So if you're going with a 4-3 scheme, I guess none of these guys really fit that, honestly. Because I see Quincy Roche as more of a 3-4 defensive end. If you're looking at the defensive linemen available, there's not the best selection. I mean, I like these guys, but they're like third rounders to me. If you look at the offensive linemen available, there are some nice offensive linemen to take here to help that offensive line because it still sucks like really badly. But they just need some sort of edge player. And, it's the best pick at this point to take Quincy Roche. Again, even though I think he works better in a 3-4 scheme, and maybe you want to reverse the Jason Owe and Quincy Roche picks. I don't think Roche fits on the Titans. Owe fits on the Seahawks, I think, but, obviously the Titans stole him. So, I just think Quincy Roche can also work. But again, these are guys that I think would work in the opposite schemes better, but they just need an edge player, and these are the best guys available. Then the Steelers. The Steelers, looking at them, they could use... There's no quarterbacks to take here. Maybe I'd consider Desmond Ridder, but he is going back for his senior year at Cincinnati because they're chasing a championship. You're not going to get it, sorry. It's too high for any of these other guys here for sure. The corners, it's too high for any of these guys. There is a nice running back. This is a spot I could see Javonte Williams going. And he fits the type of running back they have right now. Because they love their... If you look at the guys they have, like James Conner, Anthony McFarland, Benny Snell, they're all kind of smaller guys. And Javonte Williams is a decently sized dude. I think Javonte Williams would be better than James Conner, though, overall. And I don't think Benny Snell or Anthony McFarland are going to be anything. So if they want to go running back, they definitely can. Or maybe they go... No, I don't see offensive line. I think Javonte Williams is going to be the pick here. James Conner just hasn't been it. He had that one good rookie season. Or I don't know if that was his rookie season, but he had one good season. That's not enough to hold up for the lack of production that he's produced recently. So then the Rams with their first pick in the draft. And Rams could definitely go with a tackle here. It's either tackle or linebacker for me. Looking at the linebackers available, I like Cameron McGrone for sure to them. That's a pick I'm definitely considering. Looking at the tackles, these guys are fine. I just don't really see them as I see all these guys really as right tackles more than left tackles. Maybe Falil could work out at left tackle, and Whitworth's very old, obviously. I just think they need to get a true coverage linebacker, especially since they lost Corey Littleton. He sucked this year, but he was good for them. And I think Cameron McGrone is a great linebacker for Michigan. He's been one of their other bright spots for Michigan this year. But again, he's a really good true coverage linebacker, great in the run game, good at all aspects. So I think he's a good linebacker for them. So then the Browns at 58, they took Zaven Collins in the first round. So here, again, I think it's a little too high for Paulson Adebo. It's probably got to be an edge player here. And looking at the guys available with the scheme they like to play, the big guy I like here would be Rashad Weaver, but it's way too high for him. Not 114. I think he's a third rounder. But so yeah, looking at the guys available, maybe they want to go defensive line. Darius Stills is nice from West Virginia. Tyler Shelvin is good as well. But again, I see those guys as third rounders. But with that being, I think it's got to be defensive line here, though. And I still haven't watched film on this guy. I need to, I know. But I know a lot of other people like him from Duke. Victor Dimukeje, I think is his name. I can't pronounce it. But, I like him better than a Hamilcar just because, again, this isn't the scheme that Hamilcar fits in. And according to the rankings, he's the best guy here. That's the pick. I don't know who he is really. I haven't watched film on him, so I can't say much, but he's the best guy according to the rankings. So then the Buccaneers, they took Gregory Rousseau in the first round. And here, why not get a receiver, and a guy like Rondale Moore, who could go a lot higher than this. I have him a little bit lower because he just hasn't had that good of a season compared to the type of production he had last season. But Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown are both free agents. Scotty Miller's played nice as a rookie, But I still like Rondale Moore. I think it's a good fit here and a good pick. So yeah. Then at 60, the Ravens. The Ravens took Joseph Asai in the first round, and their safety position is really, really bad. And I think Devon Holland has a ton of potential. Didn't play this year, obviously. If he did, though, I think he would be a lot higher in people's rankings. Again, a guy that's like a second rounder for me, maybe even a third rounder, because that's where he almost went to. But, I just think he's a guy that has a ton of potential, and their safety room is just so desolate. It's a good picker, I think. Then the Saints, and the Saints are going to go with the same pick that has been for a long time now, in Paulson Adebo, even if it's a bit of a reach at this point, just because they don't have that many needs besides linebacker and safety, and corner. That's literally it. So it's like, that's where they're going. It's where they keep going. It's where they're going to stay going. So then the Bills, and they took Elijah Vera Tucker in the first round. Definitely too high for either of these corners, so that's not an option here. They could use a nice linebacker. I like Chaz Surratt and Pete Werner. I think it's a little too high for Monty Rice, Snowden, or Browning, but I like those guys. They're like third rounders for me right now. They might go offensive lineman truly again. I like the fit of Dylan Raduns here. Maybe even Spencer Brown or Walker Little. They might like a nice like depth edge player, and I think where is he? Where is he? The dude from right here, Rashad Weaver. This is a nice pick, but maybe a little too high for him. So yeah, there's different positions they can go here for sure. I think the pick, though, is going to be like a depth. I'm going to go with linebacker, and I like Chaz Surratt. I think it's a good fit here. I've had Jabril Cox to them before, but obviously he went earlier. I like Chaz Surratt as well from North Carolina. Again, another guy that I think just has a ton of potential. Is a bit of a developmental project, but I think he's a good fit with the Bills. Then the Packers at 63. Packers, I feel, are a team that either have to go linebacker again or, like tackle maybe, because they could use a nice right tackle. And I stated all these guys are really right tackles to me. So there's a really good selection right here. They need a good linebacker though, and I think Pete Werner is good. But I'm going to go with the tackle here because, again, like Billy Turner was great last year, but he wasn't that good this year. And Rick Wagner is great when he's out there when he's healthy. And that's an issue for him, is staying healthy. So they have the guys available. The best tackle definitely available is Dylan Raduns. Definitely a better run blocker than he is a pass blocker, but he's still a decent pass blocker. He's the best tackle available at this spot. So. And then the Chiefs, the final pick of the second round, they went with, in the first round, I believe, Jalen Phillips. So here, we're going to get him, I like this pick. I've had this pick before, and it's going to stay the same. Pete Werner, I think is a super underrated linebacker from Ohio State. I think he should go higher than this, but I don't see a world where he does, unfortunately. The dude is everywhere for Ohio State, though. He makes plays all over the place. Fantastic athleticism. He really doesn't have that many issues, honestly. So he's just obviously not that crazy good linebacker, which is why he's not higher, but he's still a solid linebacker. So then, starting the third round, we have the Jaguars, who've taken Trevor Lawrence, Pat Freiermuth, Jalen Mayfield, and with the very first pick, Eric Stokes, I want to say. Yeah, Eric Stokes. So here, there's some really nice safeties available, and out of all the guys available, the one I like the most to the Jaguars is definitely Paris Ford, who's had a really nice year for Pittsburgh. Bigger, solid corner. I'm going to try to keep it short, so I'm going to try to go a bit faster through these picks right here in the third round. So, Jets could use some corner help for sure, but it's still too high for these guys. Heck, they might want to go running back. There's some nice guys here, but too high for them. If you want to go edge player and just going off the scheme they play, I like Hamilcar Rashed to the Jets, actually, in the 3rd round. I think that's a good fit. They need edge players, so. Then the Texans with their first pick of the draft. And here, we're going to go defensive line. Well, we're going to go offensive line. They need offensive linemen. It's going to be inside offensive lineman for me, though. And I like Deonte Brown. He can play guard or center, really. They just need help on inside offensive line. Laramie Tunsil's been good, and Tyus Howard is still young, so I want to see what he does, but I think Deonte Brown's nice, though. Then the Falcons, they've taken Justin Fields and Najee Harris, I want to say, in the 2nd round. Yeah, Najee Harris. So here, linebacker is a need. Corner's also a big need, but there's no corners. Safety's also a bit of a need. They could use a nice edge player, but I don't really think any of these edge guys really work for them here. So just being all that, I'm going to go with linebacker. And I know it's going to seem really high for any of these guys, but I see them as 3rd rounders. I think these guys are majorly underrated and actually really good. And of all of these guys here, I think the one that fits the best with the Falcons is definitely Charles Snowden. I think Monty Rice is the better linebacker, but Charles Snowden fits the best out of all these guys. He's also really athletic, though, really big from Virginia, big playmaker, and I like the fit with Deion Jones. So then the Bengals, they took they took Penei Sewell, and then earlier Liam Eichenberg. So they've taken 2 tackles. Here, I think you probably want to get some. I don't really like any of these wide receivers here. You probably want to get some edge players or a defensive lineman. And being that Darius Stills is available, I love the fit of Darius Stills here. What the heck happened to Geno Atkins? I think he got hurt this year, but still, even when he's been out on the field, he just does not play. DJ Reader has not been the player at all they were hoping for. So you get a guy like Darius Stills, who's a very strong, powerful guy. I think it's a good fit. Eagles, they've taken Jamar Chase, and then in the 2nd round, Asante Samuel? Yeah, Asante Samuel. So here, we're going to continue to help out their defense. And in a linebacker, I don't like either of these guys to the Eagles. So I'm going to go with the safety here. And I like Richard LeCounte to them. Maybe a bit of a reach, but I think he's the best fit out of any of the guys here. Big and physical for Georgia. I just think he's the best fit here, and it's the type of guy they want. So then the Lions, they've taken Jalen Waddle, and then earlier Christian Barmore. Yeah, Christian Barmore. And here, they could also use a nice linebacker, maybe a tackle. Still a little too high for any of these quarterbacks, I think. So I think linebacker is going to be the pick here. And again, I think Monty Rice is the better linebacker, but I like the fit of Baron Browning better with the Lions. I think that he's the player they're looking for more, the sidekick to Pete Werner. And, I just think Monty Rice is a much smaller linebacker. Because he's smaller, he's speedier and in some ways more athletic. But I don't think that's the guy that the Lions are looking for, so they go with Browning here. Then the Panthers, so far they've gone with Trey Lance, and then earlier went with Shaun Wade. And here, again, a team that I think would like Monty Rice, but he's just not that true number 1 dominant guy that I think they need. Because I don't think Monty Rice is going to be like a number 1 linebacker. I think at best he's a solid number 2, cleanup crew type of deal. So if you're going to go here, for the Panthers, I think you need a tight end, because Ian Thomas has failed horribly to be a good tight end over there. And I like Brevin Jordan here. I had him going as high as the 2nd round before, high 2nd round. I still think he's a very solid tight end for Miami. Great catching, great blocker, solid pick. Broncos, they've taken Tyson Campbell and Mac Jones so far. So here, this is a team I think Monty Rice fits really well with. I think Monty Rice is a guy that Vic Fangio would love to have in his arsenal. Monty Rice makes plays all over the place. In this case scenario, you're stuck then with Alexander Johnson, who I think is a very nice linebacker, even though a lot of people don't. You have Josie Jewell, who's played very solid as a number 2 linebacker. And then Monty Rice. But what I would see happening in this case is that, Alexander Johnson gets old. He's already like 29, I think, or 30. And he's not the fastest guy. We like our fast linebackers. So maybe Joel moves up into that number 1 spot, and Monty Rice becomes a solid number 2. I think it works out. Then the Cowboys, and they've gone Patrick Surtain, and then earlier they got Davion Nixon. And so here, the pick for me, I mean, it's I could see tight end here. This is a spot I could see Hunter Long. I don't think they need offensive line help. I don't understand that. I think it's going to be an edge player for me. And a 4-3 guy that I really like on the outside is Rashad Weaver. I think he fits really nicely with them. He'd be great across from DeMarcus Lawrence. I like him better than his Pittsburgh counterpart, Patrick Jones. I don't know why they have him higher. But yeah, I like Rashad Weaver here. So the Giants have taken Kyle Pitts, and then earlier they took Dylan Moses. And so here, for me, it's still a little too high for any of these corners right here. I think it was like late 3rd rounders. I don't like any of the receivers really here at this point. I think these two are like late 3rd rounders, and Tylan Wallace and Daz Newsome have kind of fallen into the 4th round for me. So it's going to be an edge player here. Being the guys that are available, I like Joe Tryon the best out of all these guys. I can also see Brenton Cox or Shaka Toney here, but yeah, out of the guys here though, I think Joe Tryon's the best fit here with the Giants, and they need defensive line help. So then the Washington football team. Where do you go here at this point? I mean, I guess safety. They don't have a safety, huh? Because their one decent safety is Landon Collins, and he's getting older. So that being, it's between these top 3 guys for me. And out of these 3 guys, I like Richie Grant the best to Washington. I think he fits well, and he's a nice speedy safety. So Chargers, they went with Christian Darrisaw, and then earlier Landon Dickerson. And so here, there's not really any linebackers left I would go at this point in the draft. Looking at edge, I guess you could get like a nice edge player, because again, they like Nwosu, so he's probably going to be starting next year. But if you want to get some nice edge depth, though, I like Patrick Jones. It's too high for a corner. Yeah, I think that's got to be the pick here, is like depth edge, because they just really don't have that many other needs. And I guess Patrick Jones is probably the best fit here for the Chargers, and I like him as depth overall. So then the Vikings with their 2nd pick of the draft, they took Kwity Paye. And here, I think the Vikings, I don't really think they should go defensive line again. To me, it's got to be offensive line or like a safety. And there's actually a really nice safety on the board in Andre Cisco. I think he fits better than Hamsah, even though Hamsah necessarily might be the better safety. But I think Cisco fits better with the Vikings. I like the fit here. So Cardinals, they've gone J.C. Horn, and then earlier Carlos Basham. Yeah, Carlos Basham. So here, we'll get you guys your running back of the future, and I think that's Michael Carter. I think he's been pretty solid for North Carolina this year. He's the best running back available at this spot if you're going to take one. So I think that's the pick here. Then the Raiders. And Raiders have gone completely defense as to this point, and they're going to continue to go completely defense with a defensive lineman, because that's the one spot on defense we really haven't hit yet. It's still too high for like one of these corners. And looking at the defensive players available, they don't really have that true defensive tackle. I don't know if they have Jonathan Hankins still, but they have like Maurice Hurst. I don't really see him as a true tackle. And even if he is, he's not that good. A true tackle I see is Marvin Wilson. Now, obviously, he has not played great this year, like not even close to it. He's not even played good. But this dude was a very high draft pick originally for a reason. There's talent there for sure. 3rd rounder for me. With some development, though, I think can become a true great tackle. Same with like J2 Field. I think he's a great tackle, but nothing else. But that's what I think is the best pick here. Then we've got the Dolphins, and they've taken Devontae Smith Travis Etienne. I have to look through. Jabril Cox and Samuel Cosme. So here for the Dolphins, why not get some edge help to help out Kyle Van Noy and Emmanuel Ogba? And if you're going to get a guy here, I like Brenton Cox. I think he'd be a really nice like outside linebacker for them to play across from Kyle Van Noy. I think he fits here. So, or, he could also play defensive end for sure. But, he'll fit no matter what, I think. Then the Washington football team again. They've taken Kadarius Toney. Now I got to look through. Richie Grant and Jackson Carman. And I think that's it. Yeah. So, at this point, I guess they get some offensive line help for them, some inside offensive line help. You just signed a center to a large extension, so I don't see Creed Humphrey going here, but he should definitely be going sometime soon. A guy I could see here, though, is Josh Myers. And yes, I know he's a center, but I think he's more of a guard in the NFL than a center, really, because he has some big issues, like actually snapping the ball a lot of the time. That's why Justin Fields has struggled at times, because the snaps always messed up a lot. So I think he's better at guard, and I think he fits with Washington, though. I think he fits what they need, so. Then the Bears. Bears have gone wide receiver and offensive lineman, and I think that was Terrace Marshall, and then the lineman earlier was Trace Smith. So here, I think, let's get... They don't really need any defensive help. Again, they're not going to go with the quarterback in this draft. So I guess let's get him a tackle. And other guys available, I think Spencer Brown is the best available tackle, but I think Walker Little fits better. So being that, I'm going to go with Walker Little. I think with some time and development, he could be a great tackle in the NFL. Left tackle, I don't see him as a right tackle, honestly. But yeah, I think I think with some development, he could be pretty good to those. So then the Colts. Yeah, so here, the Colts definitely should go receiver. Just being that's a need and they haven't taken it yet, they definitely have to go receiver. And the best receiver at this point in the draft is Seth Williams. I do not like Nico Collins that much. Elijah Moore is more of a fourth rounder to me. So being the guys available, Seth Williams is definitely the best receiver available. It's just unfortunate you guys barely got a receiver in the third round, but that's just kind of how it fell out. So then the Titans. Titans here, for me, got to go defensive line. Just help out that pass rush some more. Because who are they taking so far? I think they took... in the second round, they took Jason Oweh. And then in the first round, they took Azeez Ojulari. So they didn't get like a true tackle. And a true tackle that I like is Tyler Shelvin. I think that's a great pick for the Titans here. I think he fits well. So, yeah. The Jets, heck, it's time for him to come. Israel Mukumu, you're going to the Jets. A team that needs some corner help pretty badly. So they get it. Steelers, looking at the quarterbacks available, I don't really see any of these guys being third rounders. I don't know. I think these guys are fourth rounders at best. Maybe Sam Ehlinger, but if they're going to go with somewhere here, I think it should be like a defensive lineman or some edge depth. But a guy I really like to the Steelers, though, is Jalen Twyman. I think he fits nicely with them. He's a good pick. The Rams, I think, should also go defensive lineman as well. And I like Ellen McNeil. I've given him to them before. Again, I just like the fit here. I think he's a good tackle for them. And they kind of need like that true tackle because they have two great defensive ends, but no tackle really. So Browns, they're a team that could also use a nice lengthy corner, just like an Elijah Molden. I think he's just a really nice lengthy corner from Washington. I think he's pretty good. So Buccaneers, they might as well get their running back in the future. And Trey Sermon has been great this year. He got hurt in the championship game, unfortunately, but God, he tore Clemson apart. And that kind of just made people look at him finally because he's had a really good season, actually. Provided a great run game for Ohio State, so I think he's a good running back and the running back of the future for them. So then the Vikings. Vikings could really use some corner help or some inside offensive line. Looking at the offensive linemen available, I don't think any of these guys really fit with them that well. So we're going to go with corner here, and I like Kerry Vincent. He's a good fit with them, I think. And he is the last good corner really available, and they've got to get some corner help. So then the Browns. Let's get them a true defensive lineman, and a guy I really like, my Ohio State buddy. Pascal Garrett is super, super underrated. There's no way he falls past the 3rd round for me. With a good combine, he might even get into the 2nd round. The dude's really great, makes a ton of run stops, and causes a lot of pressure constantly. I don't know why people don't talk about him more. He's really good. The Bills, they could either go edge or get some tackle depth, and I like Tevin Jenkins. I think he's a good fit with them. Again, he'd be tackle depth for them, but he's great tackle depth though. So, then the Packers, and the Packers here, they would like a corner, but I don't think any of these guys are really 3rd rounders. Looking at the guys, maybe they'd like a nice. Well, no, Robert Tonyan's been really good this year. Heck, why not? You know what? Why not get the? Screw it. Tylan Wallace. I think I gave it to them gave him to them last time. But I think he's a really good pick for the Packers, though. He's still a really good, solid receiver. He's just fallen a bit since he hasn't performed the best. Even though they've had Desmond Rattler, I think that's his name, but he's still solid though. He's been nice. Had a really good year last year, but yeah. Then the Chiefs, and the Chiefs. This is going to be the same pick as last time as well. Daz Newsome, I just think fits really well with them. Even though I think they already went receiver earlier. Or did they? No, they didn't go receiver earlier. So I think Daz Newsome fits really well with the Chiefs because. Sorry, I'm just trying to see who they take. I cannot find it. Oh, Jennifer. All right, it is. So Daz Newsome, right? He has issues with physicality. If he gets bumped at the start of a play, pretty much count him out. He doesn't have the best of hands, but God, this guy is fast. And that's what the Chiefs love. They love their speed. They love their speed. They love their speed. And that's what Daz Newsome is. He is speed. Probably the fastest guy in the class. So that's why I like him here. Then the Patriots. We're giving him a tight end. And I love Hunter Long. I'm not having him fall out of the 3rd round. He's been really good this year for Boston College. Again, great catching, great blocker. A guy that definitely could go a lot higher, especially with a good combine, and they need a tight end. Chargers here. I think the Chargers probably got to go. Where do they even go? You know what? They have a nice catching and a smaller running back in Austin Eckler, but they don't have a big, powerful guy. And a big, powerful guy is Chuba Hubbard. He's also really fallen a lot this year. However, I still think he should be a 3rd rounder. He's been really great for Oklahoma. Again, just a big, powerful runner, so I like him. Then the Saints. We're going to give them a wide receiver in Sage Surratt, just because they could use a nice depth wide receiver, if anything. They just don't have much of the position overall. Cowboys, they could also use a nice tight end, and since Charlie Kolar apparently decided to come back, I really hadn't paid much attention to Jeremy Ruckert before this game, but after looking at some clips from him, and especially at that crazy one-handed catch, the dude's actually a really solid tight end, and the Cowboys could use an actual tight end. Obviously Jarwin hasn't played, and Schultz hasn't been that good, so. And then the Rams, they need like a new tackle, if not tackle depth. And a guy I think that could work out at left tackle is Tyler Vrabel. He's also been nice for Boston College this year. With some time, could turn into a starting tackle, maybe even a good tackle in the NFL. Again, he's a developmental project, though, for sure. Has some issues to work on, but yeah. And then with the last pick of our draft, we have the Tennessee Titans. And it's going to be the same pick as last time because, god dang, I'm not having Ben Brown. And it's pretty crazy to me that Creed Humphrey is going to fall out of, the top, or out of the 3rd round. That's pretty insane since some people have him as high as a 1st rounder. But I'm not having Ben Cleveland fall out of the 3rd round. He's just been too good for Georgia to fall past here, and the Titans could use a nice guard. And Ben Cleveland really could even switch over to tackle if he wanted. So, but yeah, that is my fourth official second and third rounds of my 2021 NFL mock draft. Don't forget to leave a like, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Let me know down below what you thought of the draft. Call me stupid, whatever you like. It's there for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week for another mock draft. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see all you guys next week, like I just said, because I have short-term memory loss. Bye-bye.